Hi everyone, and welcome back to Queen G's Recipes. And today we are going to be making apple cinnamon rolls. These are very delicious, easy to put together, just require some rising time of course, but they are very similar to my other cinnamon roll recipes that I have on my channel, just a little bit different because we are going to be adding some apples, some apple spice, and they have a beautiful caramel base. They are just perfection. So first of all, I'm going to be showing you what we will be needing for our dough, and then as we go along and we need our filling and our caramel base, I will show you the ingredients for that when the time comes. So for now, we will need some sugar. I'm using instant yeast, but you can use some active dry yeast as well. You just have to make sure you proof it in your warm milk and your warm water before adding it to your flour and all the ingredients. So that's that. Here we have some butter, which we will be melting, vanilla extract, an egg, some milk, flour and salt, and some water. You will also need a 9 by 13 inch baking pan that has been greased with some non-stick spray, lightly greased, doesn't need too much. And eventually you will need your oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit when it is time to bake our rolls. So for now, let's move on to making our apple cinnamon roll dough. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is warm up our milk and water in the microwave. So I'm just going to add my water here into my milk, and we are going to warm it up for about 45 seconds. We need our milk and water temperature to be between 115 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And then once we have done that, I will melt my butter, and then I will meet you right back here so we can move on to the next step. Okay, so I'm just going to add my dough hook here. Okay, so since we are using instant dry yeast, then we don't have to proof it or allow it to bloom. So I am going to just add it in here. Okay, and then we are going to add in our milk and water, which we have already warmed up. And now we will add in our melted butter, our egg, our sugar, and our vanilla, and we will mix these ingredients just until they are nicely combined together. Now we will add in half of our flour and salt here, and then we will allow that to incorporate into our wet ingredients, and then we will add the remaining half, and then we will allow our mixture to mix together until it forms a dough, and then you will let it knead there for about 3 or 4 minutes or so, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so once my dough came together in my mixing bowl, I allowed my dough to knead there for about 4 minutes, and then I placed it on my counter and I kneaded it for another 4 or 5 minutes, just until it was nice and smooth. And then I just made it into a disc, as you can see here, placed it into a greased bowl. Now you want to make sure that the top is greased too, so it doesn't form a film or a dry skin on top. And that's about it. You can grease your bowl with some nonstick spray or some vegetable oil, and that is perfect. Now we are going to wrap this with some plastic wrap. I'm going to place a clean tea towel on top of the plastic wrap, and I'm going to place it in my microwave, of course with my microwave turned off. And you can place it in your oven with just the oven light on. You can place it anywhere where there is no cold or cool drafts, where it is in a nice warm place and it can rise. So you want to allow it to rise until it is doubled in size, and once that is done, I will show you the next step. Okay, so my dough has been rising for a little over an hour, and in about 10-15 minutes it will be ready to prepare. So what I have here is our caramel sauce, which is going to be our base. So we're going to be needing some butter. Here we have some light corn syrup, and we will need some brown sugar. Now what we're going to do is we are going to melt our butter, and then we are going to mix these three ingredients together until they are well combined, and then we will place it in our 9 by 13 inch baking dish, which has already been sprayed with some non-stick spray, and then we will be ready to work on our rolls. Okay, so before we start working on our dough, I'm going to show you the ingredients for our filling. What I have here is some brown sugar. In here I have a mixture of just regular white granulated sugar, some cinnamon, some apple pie spice, and here we have some softened butter at room temperature, which I will be placing in the microwave for about 10 to 15 seconds. I don't want it completely melted, just so it's very soft and spreadable. And here we have some apples. Now you can use any apples of your choice and it will be perfectly fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to soften my butter, and then I am going to mix my brown sugar with my cinnamon sugar ingredients, and I'm going to dice up my apples. So you want to make sure that you chop them into very small pieces, and that's about it. And then we will be ready to roll out our dough, place our butter, then our filling, and then I will show you the next step. Okay, so my dough has been rising for 1 hour and 20 minutes. It looks amazing. And now before I move on to this, I'm going to show you the apples. I have finely chopped them, as you can see. You need them to be in very small pieces. And here I have mixed the brown sugar with the cinnamon sugar and spices mixture. So that's ready to go as well. And I also have a little bit of flour so we can roll out our dough. Okay, so I'm going to roll out my dough on top of a lightly floured surface to about a 10 by 16 rectangle size, so around that size, and then I will show you the next step. Okay, so when placing your softened butter and your filling, you want to leave about a 1/2 inch border around so that your filling and everything doesn't start to come out when you start cutting up your rolls and preparing them. So now we are ready to place our filling and our apples, and then we will roll them up and we will be ready to cut our rolls. Okay, so now we will just gently and carefully cut off the edges here. And then I am going to make 12 rolls out of our dough here. Okay, so you want to make sure that your rolls are cut side down. And now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap them again with some plastic wrap and a clean tea towel, and we're going to put them in a warm place until they double in size, which should probably be around 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, so my rolls here have been rising for about 45 minutes. They have clearly here doubled in size. They are gorgeous and wonderful. Now we are going to take the 2 tablespoons of butter that we reserved aside, and we are going to place it on top of our rolls. Just make sure that you melt it first and then spread it on top, and we will be ready to bake these at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for around 22 to 25 minutes. You will notice they have puffed up beautifully and they are nice golden brown. Okay, so my rolls baked for exactly 22 minutes. Now I'm going to invert them onto a platter or a tray. So that's what I'm going to do now, and then we'll let them sit for about 10 minutes and then we will be ready to try them. These are so wonderful and amazing. The inside is so soft and perfect. The apples are tender, but there's still a little bit of texture. The caramel sauce is definitely over the top. Now, I do suggest you take some of the leftover sauce and just with a spoon, just spoon it over the rolls. It is going to be just amazing. I promise you that. These are one of the best rolls I have ever had, and you are going to love them. And that's about it. Pretty simple to put together, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give us a nice big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you will be notified every time I upload a new and delicious recipe. Share the recipe with your family and friends, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. The links will be in the description box below, along with the recipe. And I'll see you on my next video. Take care. Bye, everyone.